All right, everybody, we're in the middle of downtown Seattle. It's about to get really hectic out here. It's rush hour. Drivers will be going insane and yelling at each other, pulling guns on each other, that kind of stuff. But we are going to look at some art here at what used to be the Banana Republic. The Banana Republic was some kind of business I never walked into in my entire life. I just used to see it as a kind of name on a building. But now here we have artists. Artists, Banana Republic left, and artists have taken over the space. And so I want to show you, to get in here, don't use those doors if you want to get into this. During the art shows and the exhibits, you walk to the side over here and you enter it this way. Yes, I'm not buying anything here. I'm going to look at art. It's like, let me in. This is how you enter through this door. Hello.
Hi.
Alissa.
Hi, Charles.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Let's go down and look at this exhibit I know you have in the basement. I've heard rumors about it. Okay, let's go to the basement.
Okay.
But first, a glass of wine. Icons, right here. I love this. By the way, this is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is the piece you encounter right away when you walk in here.
This particular piece is called "A Hypnotherapist Told Me She Could Fix Me with $1,600 in 3 easy sessions." And a lot of the work in this show, we're both kind of independently and collaboratively exploring subconscious and how that's deciphered both through our own artifice and shared generational artifice. So that's where you see kind of the intersection of this digital references and then also personal landmarks, like photos that call back to a specific time for each of us individually.
We did a lot of excavating of imagery for this show.
Right.
This space definitely informed the color palettes, or how we're working with the space, or where things went.
Yeah.
Those were all predicated on things that already existed, or the way things feel. They're quite vivacious, and they're very full and bright, and it's just a direct contrast between what the text is saying to you and what you're experiencing in terms of imagery. And I feel like there's a lot to be had in terms of conversation about duality and complexity. I personally self-describe as a woman of extremes.
Well, this is our collaborative work.
So this is you together.
Yes, this is like where we really were not just making works that are in conversation with each other, but that we were directly pulling images from both of our piles, if you will, and putting them together into a digital collage.
It's all entirely built in space in terms of being super in conversation with the architecture and the natural quality of the space in the wall. And then we would do the digital collages as the projections, as mapped to the objects in the space or the framing in the space.
But this may even feel like I'm inside of a cell phone, looking at the world outside.
I love that.
Right? Like I'm trapped, like you know, in Plato's cave, but it's Plato's cell phone. Here we are. Oh my God, the echoes are incredible.
Yeah, the reverb is delicious.
Yes, it is. When I came here on the downtown art walk, I was really taken by how everybody was sort of interacting with the piece.
All of the works are double-sided.
Yes.
And in turn, you get this really nice backlit glow.
The double-sided aspect was, to me, the clincher, because what it meant was you weren't really behind anything.
Right.
Nobody was behind any. Everybody was always confronted with or facing a piece of art.
These works are meant to be interacted with not as two-dimensional works, but as three-dimensional. And all the chairs that are throughout the space are also found objects. It's something else that we really connected on was the sentiment of found objects.
Yeah, they're original to the space.
Yes.
They are?
They are.
Yeah.
And so these seats, what were people watching in the Banana Republic?
Well, before it was Banana Republic, it was a movie theater, but before it was a movie theater, it was the and then before it was the Coliseum, it was the Alhambra Theater, which was a vaudeville theater.
Wow.
So this building has been functioning in this kind of like performing arts capacity since the 1910s.
So this is a bit of archaeology in its own.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pulled quite a few chairs down from where they're stored over here.
What graveyard is this? The graveyard of chairs?
Of chairs, yes. Of viewership.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything here is wonderful, absolutely. A chair graveyard, this piece of sculpture right here.
And there's more to be shown. It's our intention for the June Art Walk to install additional works in kind of more obscured spaces. There's a mysterious crawl space that we're hoping to activate.
That was legitimate excitement.
There's so many rooms and so many different, I mean, with an unfinished basement like this, there's just a lot that is usually always cleaned up and tidied for presentation, and so one of the benefits is that it isn't, and we get to continue to, I guess, to what you were talking about, be archaeologists and excavate more spaces to activate with work.
Right here in downtown Seattle, I couldn't ask for more.